and we're talking Buffalo Bills right now. Look, Pat, Tim Graham had a very long column describing the whole Pegula business enterprise, and the word toxic kept coming up, and how that pushes towards, it's already kind of engulfed the Buffalo Sabres, but it's sort of pushing towards the Buffalo Bills too. How serious a threat do you think this is to what we've got going here?
Yeah, there are some very interesting things in that article. The former employees that he talks to, and I know the argument on social media being made for the Pegula defenders are that, well, of course, anybody that has lost a job or has lost coworkers at his job are going to feel negative about things. But there are several valid points raised, one of them being the front office member for the Buffalo Bills who resigned his position when he felt some of the Pegula people were being pushed upon him. I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, it's an understatement. It's not ideal. But on the other hand, this isn't something that Buffalo sports fans aren't accustomed to. I mean, listen, Ralph Wilson is a saint now, and he kept his team in Buffalo for years and years and years. But, Bill, you know as well as I do from covering that team for years that some of the same things that are being said about the Pegulas were being said about Ralph Wilson back in the day, and that was on top of the penny pinching that was going on. I hope to goodness, and Tim Graham's a great writer. I believe everything that Tim Graham says. He does his research, and the article was very fair and even, I believe, with the interview with Kim Pegula cut in there. But I hope to God that it's a bump in the road and not an aberration of what's to come with the Pegulas and these franchises.
You know, Tariq, it was the comment was made in that column that the morale, these people that are speaking on the terms of anonymity, were the morale was worse in the Buffalo Bills office than at any time since Ralph Wilson died.
Yeah, and there's some connection there with the head coach McDermott, making people that know him make comments and whatever it may be. It's spilling over to the Buffalo Bills, who right now are in a very good position to be successful. Like, this is not what you need now. Some of the issues from another franchise in your same city owned by the same family coming over and bleeding over to this moment where Bills fans, you should be extremely excited for the upcoming season. Number one, so you can't have any toxicity anywhere near that. I will give some encouragement to the Bills fans. The Knicks have the same problem. Toxicity with the Knicks and Jim Dolan and the Rangers, who have seen some success. So you can split that problem if you want to. And Duffy's giving me those eyes. Like, I don't want to say your Sabres are like my Knicks, but there's some hope that your Bills won't get infected by this virus.
Well, it makes sense that the Sabres would be the one affected more than the Buffalo Bills were based on what's in this article. I mean, hockey is more interconnected when it comes to relationships, right? You see guys that play for years and they make friends, and those guys are hired as front office guys, and then you keep the Hall of Famers around. Like, it's a family atmosphere around hockey, whereas football is just whatever the hired gun is, we'll bring him in. There doesn't have to be a connection past. I mean, heck, you look at the last couple of head coaches here in Buffalo, they all had former Buffalo connections. The general manager, Jason Botterill, played in the franchise for years and years and years. Chris Taylor, the head coach with the Amherst right now, same kind of situation. I, again, hope that it's people who wanted relationships to continue within a franchise because of something that was built for years and years feeling slighted, not that there's a larger problem. But to be honest, man, I don't know.
The interconnectivity is a real problem because although the football operation, it's NFL, it makes money without even trying. The rest of the stuff in the Pegula empire is kind of suffering, and they claim that the Sabres are losing big money every year.
That's rough. I mean, it's a trickle-down effect. I just don't want it to spill over to the Buffalo Bills, because the Sabres, theoretically, if the NHL comes back, they can go quietly into the night, reestablish, and then maybe start up for the upcoming season. I'm not saying to cancel the season. The NHL has not announced that yet, but I'm just saying that could possibly be a benefit if this season doesn't go forward. For the Bills, it's something totally different. If you get that toxicity out of the news cycle, you have a chance to win the AFC East. You have a chance to go deep into the playoffs, and maybe behind the scenes you start working on that relationship with the Sabres. But that's a lot of dirt that just came out.
Yeah, and it concerns me, too, that the Buffalo Bills window seems to be, I would have said this a year ago, relatively small here because the Jets getting better. The Dolphins have a staggering number of, draft picks that they just spent in the draft. And the Patriots are going to bounce off the bottom. This division in 1 or 2 years is going to be a free-for-all with all four teams contending.
What makes you think the Patriots are going to bounce off the bottom based on what's happened over the last 7 days?
Well, I'm not saying
I'm sorry,
this
I forgot
year.
You're Boston. That's why. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm not saying this season, but I think next season. I mean, it's safe to assume that they're going to be better than they'll be in 2020.
No one wants to bet against Belichick. That's exactly what Bill's doing right now. No one wants to bet against Belichick because they're thinking there's got to be a method to the madness. So
There's no
until
method.
let's play the games and see what happens.
I do try to not let that bias sneak in too, by the way, Pat. You always accuse me of that. I try not to let it happen.
You're talking to a man wearing a Bills jersey. It is fair for me to accuse you of bias as well.
All right, that's cool.